Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Wow. Hell of a game here, folks. Hell of a game. My favorite tournament of the year, the U.S. Championship, currently being played in St. Louis, Missouri. This is a game from round one. And I'll tell you, anybody can go on YouTube and go under the Chess Club and Scholastic Center of St. Louis. They have a channel on YouTube, and you can see the entire round with commentary. But a lot of young guys, a lot of young girls. They play the women's championship simultaneously. It is as white. Conrad Holt, young, new GM. These young guys, boy, they're out for blood. And my buddy, Carl Nakamura, is black. This is a hell of a game, folks. I also want to mention there's a short little post-mortem with a Carl at the end. Anyway, it's going to be a King's Indians. You know all hell's going to break loose, especially with a Carl. G6, knight C3, bishop G7, E4, D6, knight F3, castles. Okay, pretty much standard stuff. Tiny advantage for white, typical King's Indian stuff. H3, E5. A Carl goes right away, and Conrad closes up the position. Now stay tuned here, folks. I'm not saying that just so you watch the rest of the video. All hell breaks loose. Knight to H5 for Carl. G3, typical King's Indian craziness. Knight A6. Gotta get that knight out somehow. He didn't want to bring him to here. It blocks in the bishop. Knight to D2. And the computer shows us the last book move. Queen E8, bishop E2. Alright, this is somewhat typical stuff. White's got the, well, I should say white and black has the center locked up. It'll be tough maneuvering around. I think F5 for black soon would open things up. Knight to F6, but Carl goes back. He basically has to, because after, you know, bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, he has to go back. H4, here comes white. Now these young guys, Conrad Holt, oh gosh, I don't think he's 20, 21 years old, maybe. Knight to D7, he's bringing the other knight around. H5 the computer has is interesting, and that way to stop the pawn advance. But after knight to D7, he goes H5 anyway. And the computer likes knight on D to C5 or G takes. Now Carl plays F5. And that brings up white's score a little bit. It's about 3/4, almost a pawn advantage for white. But here's where it's going to get crazy. H takes, H takes, E takes. What to do? Knight D to C5 is computer's first choice, and a close second is knight to F6. And that's what a Carl did. Right now it's about a pawn and a quarter, a pawn and a third advantage for white. Yes, he's up a pawn, but to sacrifice that pawn like that, you've got to be confident in your calculation skills. F takes, queen takes. Your king is completely exposed now. There's absolutely zero pawns in front of your king. That's confidence in your calculation ability. Knight to F3. Here comes the pieces. Knight comes over. Bishop's ready to come in. Knight to B4. Eyeballing, of course, this square here. Hitting the rook and the king. It's got to hit the queen. The queen can go back here. And that's what a Carl does. But you gotta have nerves of steel to do that. Now it's weird. That knight is pinned now, as you can see. The rook is in pre. King to F1. Computer likes knight to E4. And I kind of like that myself, frankly. Bishop F5. Get some of the pieces out, connect your rooks. And that's what a Carl does. King to G1. Now he wants to move the knight. Bishop to C2, hitting the queen. Holy crap, here we go. Now, believe it or not, right now it's an almost 2-point advantage for white. But I'll tell you the truth. Mentally, it looks like white is being stressed much more. He's got much more pressure. That's just my opinion. Queen to d2, he moves the queen. Knight to e4, hitting the queen. Knight has to take. Queen takes. Now, my understanding is that Conrad was very low on time. He was getting low on time. We're on move 21. The time control's at move 40. It's a complicated position. I mean, you're on the edge of a knife. And this is where I think the kid miscues. Computer likes knight to g2, bishop h5. But I can see why he did this. He went bishop f1. And that brought the entire advantage, his tiny advantage now for black. It was, go back here, it was almost a 2-point advantage. Now it's basically even. If you got knight to g2, bishop d3, bishop h5 was the continuation for white, and he would have been in good shape. But the pressure got to the kid. Bishop f1, bishop d3, bishop h3, knight c2. I mean, holy crap, look at this. Bishop e6, check. What do? Do you move the king in the corner for the discovery? Well, you can't do that. If he moves the king in the corner, either h7, h8, of course, is made on the spot with knight to g6. That's mate. Double discovered check. And if it goes king to h7, it's mate in 3. He has to put the rook up. The kid's got pressure on a Carl. It's basically even on the computer. But now the pressure has changed. The stress has changed to white, or excuse me, black is now under stress. F3 was the choice of the computer. But he went knight to F5. And now it's over for the kid. Almost a 7-point advantage for black. Just throws it away. And it's a shame, too. You know I like it, Carl. Knight to E1. Beautiful find there. Boy, who could have found that move? And I'll tell you the truth. I mean, what is there? Queen takes F5. Bishop takes, bishop takes. I mean, you know, it's still horrible. And by the way, queen takes F5 is a draw. Knight to E1. What a beautiful move that is. If he had taken the rook, those that are wondering, after knight takes, knight C2, knight F5, queen E1 check, queen takes, knight H6 check, king, knight takes, with a huge advantage. So that rook wasn't so free. After knight D1, knight D7 check, he checks again. He just moves. And that's where Conrad Holt, young new GM in the United States, resigned. Hell of a game, though, to watch. There's going to be a short post-mortem from Macaro at the end here. Give you an idea why he resigned, of course. Rook checks. Bishop takes. Bishop takes. King takes. It's over. There's no more checks. And, of course, the whole entire time was the mate here that white could not stop. So anyway, folks, Carl dodged the bullet on that one. Round 1, one of my favorite tournaments. My favorite tournament, actually, the U.S. Championship being played at the Chess Club and Scholastic Center in St. Louis. Beautiful place. Ever get some of the pictures online. And as I always say at the end of my videos, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
Nakamura, welcome to the show.
Good to be here.
Great game. Really exciting. We weren't sure if you were alive, dead. bluffing? What was going on in this game? In this moment, you play this incredible move, knight to f6. We were saying if you took back, it looked very bad for you, and you surprised everyone with this move, knight to f6. What were your thoughts going on when this game, at this moment in the game?
Yeah, I kind of wasn't sure what I was doing, so I just decided to do something active, basically. I have a feeling I didn't play it correctly because I think I was much worse at one point, but nevertheless, I think at this point it was still reasonably okay. I don't think, it's anything to write home about, but it's not terrible like it was later on.
So you think it got much worse for you in the game?
Yeah, certainly.
After this capture and a capture here, and now the move knight to f3.
Yeah, queen g6 is a bad move. I should have just played e4.
That's what the engines were saying was e4.
Yeah, that was my original idea, but I miscalculated this whole line. I forgot that white could throw in knight h4 first and then king f1. Like here after knight b4, if like knight b4, if white goes king f1, you're not in time because I can just go knight g4. And so the point is I just forgot that throwing in knight h4, my queen's on h7. Basically it's like I just confused all the move orders and I just ended up worse. So not very good, but still. I think this position was complicated enough that it was still playable at any rate.
So what do you think was his improvement? After he played king f1, you played bishop to f5, and then he played king g1 instead of taking, well, he couldn't take just yet, but he played king g1, you played bishop c2.
Yeah, I have a feeling that queen d2 is a mistake. I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that, like, I thought queen f1 and queen e1 both were better for white. I felt like queen f1 with the idea of queen h3 could have been quite strong, but after queen d2, I still suspect that white's much better. It's just, at least here I can hope for something.
Well, you mixed it up with this move, knight e4. He traded here. If I can get my fingers to work, maybe you can get it over here.
Yeah, I can try. Yeah, knight e4.
And
there we go.
We're losing the board. We might have to get a mouse to get that going.
Yeah.
It looks like our board has crashed. But let's get to the last moment when you played this move, knight e1. Did you suspect that he might overlook this move?
Well, I think the thing is, on knight e1, you automatically see that you always have knight h4. I think that's kind of the point. Like, okay, Conrad got low on time, so I think he saw that he always had knight h4 as a bailout move if he needed it, kind of. Of course, obviously there's queen g2.
That was really beautiful. We pointed that out.
Yeah, which mates on the spot. But I suspect he got low and he just didn't see the idea. But I think even so, even without knight f5, I think it's already very, very unclear, and I think I have good chances. Especially considering the time situation.
What was he in serious time pressure? We hadn't noted.
Yeah, he had about I would say about 10 minutes when he played. I think bishop e6, and then he spent all his time on knight f5. And I don't know about knight f5. Maybe there's something else, but still, it's always just such a messy position that if you don't have a lot of time, it's going to be difficult. And also, it's a good 20-ish moves away from time control. So I think it's just a difficult situation to be in.
So congratulations on that. You're back in the championships after a 2-year hiatus. Three-year hiatus.
Yeah.
And you're an old man for the championships. You're
I guess.
Pretty young guy, but all these little kids in the tournament. It's incredible. What do you think about this youth movement you're seeing here in the U.S.?
Well, I think that's always going to be the case. It doesn't matter, I think back to when Gata was, in his early to mid-30s, and there were all the young players coming after him, and so I don't think it's that much different for me. I think that's just the way the times are. Every couple of years there are going to be new talents, so you just have to be ready to play against them, I guess, to up your level in a sense.
Speaking of upping your level, you've been playing really well lately, winning Gibraltar, winning in Zurich, now already winning your first round here, but you do have a challenger, a new one. That seems like the biggest threat yet so far, Wesley So. What do you think about his arrival here in the States?
Well, first of all, to make a correction, I was playing well. Today is the worst game I've played in a good probably 3 to 5 months. I lost the game to Anand in Zurich, but even that game was not as bad as today. So I'm certainly counting my lucky stars for winning today. That being said, certainly it's quite a challenge when you have another player who's well over 2,700 competing in the championships. But to me, it's no different than when Gata was roughly the same rating as I was, or a little bit higher. You just have to play your best and see what happens.
He hasn't spurred you on in any way, giving you another sense of trying to surge towards the top?
Well, not really. I'm just trying to play good games of chess, and I seem to be doing that outside of today.
All right, well, we congratulate you on the fine start, at least, if not the fine play, according to your high standards.
Let's just hope I play better than this, because I play like this, I'm not going to win the championship.
All right, well, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you in later rounds. Good.